we haven't decided how
Okay.
we will do
No,
it.
don't tell it. Then we can cut it.
Yeah. But then we have it. So do it.
Okay. Hello, HEMA friends. Welcome with this new video. The Spadone project, Nick, Julian, and great guest, my friend Federico Malagutti.
Hello.
And of course, content creator on YouTube and HEMA practitioner. And today we have an interesting piece. And Julian, I think you can just present what we have here in, of course, Zurich, Landesmuseum, Affoltern depot.
We have here a so-called Fechtschwert, commonly known today as Federschwert, that we use to practice HEMA in most clubs, I guess. We see it in a lot of manuscripts as well, like Joachim Meyer. You see this kind of shape, and we are lucky to have 3 excellent examples here in the museum. This is one of them. 2 of them are very similar. Of these 3, 2 are very similar. This is one of them. The other one is quite different. Dating is pretty hard, but we would say it's in the first half of the 16th century. We have a lot of difference to the swords that we normally use in our clubs and fencing due to production as well, and they are not very well researched yet. There will be sooner article published in a history magazine in Switzerland about these. As you can see, the shape differs to what we normally have. It has a white point that is very thin to give the bleeding head wound to the opponent in a Fechtschule. This is just 1.2 millimeters approximately. So when you get hit on the head, chances are pretty high that you start bleeding. Then it gets thicker and a bit thinner, like the width reduces, but thickness increases. And finally, it's the thickest right after the shield, and then goes back to the tang, flaring. This is a construction that helps actually with distributing the force in the hit, or at least that's what we presume, because the first third is not as hard as the middle, and the point is the hardest. That leads to more kind of softness or flexibility close to the shield, and in the end you have movement of the blade that gives less force to the opponent. We have made replicas to test this, and it feels different to get hit by them. It doesn't hurt as much, I would say. I was volunteering to get hit. Stabbing is not nice, I have to say, which was forbidden in the German Fechtschule anyway. What else is to say? Lengthwise, it's pretty close to what we normally have nowadays. It's about 130 something. And weight is about 1400 grams, plus minus. Interesting here as well on the grip are the ferrules here. They are on all 3 swords, and of course they give stability to the handle, but might have been an addition later, because these came from the armory of Zurich to the museum, and we even saw these, Nick, on a different sword, I think a 200 sword. We saw like...
Yeah, it's typical, for example, of Venetian production. Some of the bigger swords have this kind of protection to the ends of the handle, sometimes even in the middle.
Yes, and the one that we looked at had the same type of ornaments on the ferrule. So it looked like, and it was also from the Zeughaus, maybe they have put it on there. But it makes kind of sense that the wood doesn't splinter below the grip when the crossguard gets hit. So very different profile to what we have nowadays. Very different behavior because of the hardening as well. They do not bounce as much when they clash. There's more friction.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, so you need to work more with your body actually, which helps a bit more to understand, in my opinion, the actual fencing treatises, the techniques.
Okay.
Because you need to do more. When we do it in sparring, we think this never works. Why does it never work? And it's because, in my opinion, the modern fetters that are very hard They just bounce. I do not need to do the versetzen as far as I would need with this sword, because this just stays where it connects. So I need the movement, and that opens up other openings on the body.
Also, maybe because I noticed that the profiles are not rounded; they are very squared.
Yes.
This also helps maybe with this.
Yes. There's also more friction feeling. It behaves more like a sharp, I would even say. Like it's really different. The balance is also very different to what we normally have, I would say. Balance point is further back, closer to the shield. And there is a theory as well that the shield is not only hand protection, but needed structurally because of the hardening, and in the end also the shock that goes into the handle, because if this would just be thin continuing here, you have it here, it's more prone to break, or it's less nice in the hand. So the shield, besides protecting the hand a bit, might have a structural reason for these type of swords.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What? Oh, sorry.
Go, Fede, go.
No, what I wanted to say is there is chance that also the shield modifies the balance so that it feels like another type of sword, like a full-bladed one, or it's do you think it's not related with this?
I wouldn't say necessarily it can be, but
It's not
honestly, I didn't think about that point. I need to do more thinking about this, but I wouldn't say primarily that's the reason, because the balance point is, of course, also moved by the pommel and the pommel weight. Also very interesting is, and it's mostly the case for two-handed swords, that the frontal pivot point is where it should be, close to the tip. You always know where the tip is. It always stands in front, which the fencing treatises tell us to do. Stay with the point and always be a menace to the opponent.
Yep.
So while you move everything here, this just stays in place, which is very nice. Yeah.
And I would also say that style-wise, you can feel that it's just a tool. If you compare it to something modern, it's really plain and simple. It's not really fancy, but there's something in the details, like you can tell there's something going on with the shape. It's not just it doesn't feel modern, but it feels with these details on the really thin tip and this kind of details close to the shield, that it has meaning. It's meant for something specific, and is not just put together to fence without making something working for that context.
Yes,
I see.
Also, interestingly, this is like, from the two that are very similar, this is way better quality than the other one.
Okay.
We looked at it. The other one also has a groove in where they probably filed out an inclusion or lamination already. So the overall state of this one is better than the other, but they seem to come from the same workshop. They're so similar that they might be from the same workshop. Maybe one is a copy of the other one. We don't know. Would be interesting where it actually comes from. The only thing we know, it's from the armory in Zurich. So it's over 120 years old at least.
Yeah.
I think that's all that is to say.
One thing which I wanted,
Sure.
What do you think about, because of the blade profile, etc., and how it narrows at the tip also? What about flicking on purpose to make it?
It's not that flexible.
It's not that flexible.
No.
Okay.
It is when you get actually stabbed, like we tried it with the replicas that Cyrill Hamm made, an amazing Swiss
Link in the description.
bladesmith, link in the description. We meticulously measured it, and he made amazing copies of these that we are thoroughly testing now to see how they behave. And
no people were armed.
And no people were harmed so far. But no extreme flicking is possible. There's not this is not doing this or something.
But on a parry, maybe. Like
A bit, of course, there is a bit bending. It is flexible, but also due to that it's more flexible here and here hardened due to the hardness. I think this bends actually less. It starts bending like nicely here.
okay,
So that part is not moving that much as this part.
okay.
So it depends where you hit, but it's not like I'm not hitting you behind the blade. This is not happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So tomorrow we are going to fence with them.
Yes.
Like cool.
Yeah. You can try it out and tell us what you think about it.
Of course.
And if it changed the perception of HEMA in general. Because this is the right tool to practice it. I think all the souls that are out at the moment are not feeling that way and are not portraying how it is. So we're kind of, with all the minuses we have that we cannot fence like back in the day, this is even the wrong tool that we are using.
Yeah.
In terms of Fechtschwert and a bit later.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you my point of view after the sparring.
Yes. Okay. I think that's all.
So that's all for this video. If you want to see more content like this and helping me and Julian going on with research and finding new museums, collection, spot interesting swords and weapons, antique weapon to show you, you can help the project on our Patreon page, just some euros a month. You get one update per month on what we are doing, updates about the book we are writing that is currently work in progress, and we can give you more information about this incredible object. So that's all, and thank you for watching, and
As always, see you next time. Bye.